All right, guys. UFC Mexico has ended a couple days ago, and now weird shit is going on. Um, we're talking back again about Ilia Topuria because Ilia Topuria just posted a video on about Islam Makachev being knocked out, and there's been a lot of interesting thoughts and insights on this being posted everywhere. And some of the craziest shit is I'm hearing is that people are saying that Ilia will like clean out Islam. He'll destroy Islam. I mean, while I agree he's a good matchup for Islam, I don't think he destroys him. Now, let me break it down. All right, so touching up on Ilia first. The thing about Ilia now is that he's obviously a great boxer, and we all know that. We've seen him again, time and time again. We've seen him knock out people, piece up fighters, and he's obviously amazing at that. And he's a solid boxer. He can knock out pretty much anybody in his division if he landed right. Which, at the same time, almost anybody can do that, right? But I think just generally he has a lot more power. He's a shorter guy, shorter arm, lower center of gravity. He packs a lot of punch in that. He packs a lot of power in that one punch. But now when you look at him as a whole, right? He's fought Bryce Mitchell where he's been able to take him down, submit him. He showed his strength there, and he's seems like an overall well-rounded guy. It feels like he's just very well-rounded. Now the thing I noticed is that the reason why I think he would give Islam some trouble, and is because one, him being a little shorter, that makes it harder for Islam to grab him, which I think a lot of people have seen that with Volk, right? Being that Islam would have to, dip a little lower to get his legs, to get his a double leg or a single leg, it's going to be a little more difficult for him. The other thing about Ilia is that Ilia is not like Volk, where Volk, kind of fakes and then he just tries to, set up shots. Ilia is more of a patient guy, just like Islam. He kind of just stalks you, and then when he gets the right time, he strikes. The thing about him also is that a lot of people didn't see is that he doesn't just shoot. He doesn't hit one or two punches. He comes with like 4, 5, 6 combos at a time, and he's expecting to take some hit back, but he's probably gonna land with the 4th hit or the 3rd. So that's how he's been kind of showing his fighting style, and he's been doing that with pretty much, I think, with everybody. That one fight with Jay Herbert where he got kicked in the face, he didn't even see it coming, but he bounced back and obviously won that fight in a very dominant fashion, I want to say. And when you look at him, when you look at all the things he's done so far in a short period of time, in his short career, in his undefeated short career, he obviously is dangerous for anybody on the 45er list. But when it comes to somebody like Islam, he's fighting somebody just as calculated as him. So Islam is not somebody that's just going to be like, hey, I'm going to do the same thing Volk did, or I'm just going to be, whatever. Islam is just as patient. If anything, way more patient than Ilia. He's obviously exceptional, or he's amazing at grappling. His grappling is, second to none. He's been doing it since he was a kid. And he has shown that from time and time again. He's beat the best of the best with the jiu-jitsu specialists. He's submitted Charles Oliveira. He's obviously, a great wrestler. And just to add, he's strong as hell, right? At 55, he's an absolute beast. When he, after he hydrates, he's like 180, 178 or something like that. So he's massive. I think Ilia had a fight at 155, but his true size is 145. So him going against Ilia, which I think they're like pushing. They're pushing that. Like, I think Islam said something. I see just a post recently. Islam was like, oh, well, if I'm going to take Gaethje out in June or something like that, and then I'm going to give him Topuria some Dagestani medicine for growth or something like that, he said. Which is interesting at the same time. Like, as much as, me maybe want to see it right now because there's a lot of hype behind it, I don't actually want to see it because I feel like right now is just too much of this double champ bullshit going on. Everybody wants to become a double champ. Everybody wants to move up a weight class or move down or whatever it is. And it's kind of becoming like a joke at this point. You know, they're not even fighting. They're not even defending titles. They're not defending their titles, and they're just going up and down. They're trying to go up and down. At least they're saying it. They haven't, as many people haven't done it. Like Volk, I understood. He's defended his title like 5 times, 4 times, and then he goes up and tries to take the lightweight, which, you know, rightfully so. I think he earned that. But everybody else, I mean, even for Islam, going to fight Leon, or Leon going to fight Dricus, or Ilia going to fight Islam. I mean, like, all of this is just like, it's just too much. They got so many people in their own division. Look what just happened in UFC Mexico. Ortega just smoked Yair Rodriguez. And, you know, he was like, people were counting him out all the way to the first round, because the first round he looked like he was, you know, destroyed. He rolled his foot. You know, he rolled his foot during the announcement. I mean, all the odds were kind of stacked against him. He was coming off an injury. There's a bunch of stuff. So, and he still managed to pull it out a victory with a submission, and he did it in a dominant fashion, and he really showed heart. So, like, you can't count him out. And then you also got Max Holloway, who's going to fight Justin Gaethje. And we know Max Holloway has the granite chin, you know, who hasn't been put away. And we're going to see that tested at UFC 300. So we still got to wait for that to play out and see how that goes. Also, in my opinion, I think Ilia still has to fight Volk one more time. I feel like that's a general consensus for everybody. I think everybody thinks that too. I'm not the only one thinking that. I think everybody wants to see Volk one more time against Ilia. I think Volk comes back and he's way more calculated this time. I don't think the betting odds are going to be in his favor, that's for sure. But I think that underdog brings out the dog in him at that point even more. You know, he doesn't let him be complacent. I think he's going to even work 10 times harder. I think he just needs rest right now. I think he needs time to kind of recover from what happened. But I think he comes back even more dangerous this time. That's just my opinion on that. Not saying he's going to get the win, but I'm just, you know, I think he comes back so much more dangerous. Because Ilia was hungry in the beginning, right? So maybe not be as hungry anymore. Now, you know, saying all of this, Islam still has to fight Gaethje or Arman or Charles Oliveira. He has to get through all that first. And, you know, even if he beats Gaethje, he still has to fight somebody between Arman and Oliveira. So that's another one. So we're saying, let's just say June. Then we're saying probably, give or take, October, which is Abu Dhabi, which is typically what he does anyways. And then you're going to move on somewhere, you know, January again. That's probably where they're going to land with, if they do some Ilia fight. That's if Ilia still has a title, because he's got to fight somebody in between at least once or twice, give or take, depending on injuries or whatever it might be. But yeah, going back on this, to be honest, the fact that people are saying that, you know, Ilia goes out and dominates Islam, that's wild, man. You guys are wild for saying anything like that. That's just crazy. I don't know where the hell you guys get this stuff from, or who thinks shit like that. That's just crazy. I never said that Ilia's not an amazing fighter, but geez, I'm not gonna go out there and say, yo, he's just gonna go dominate this guy. Like, you know, Islam has pretty decent boxing. Ilia Topuria has great boxing, and Islam has amazing wrestling, the best, second to none. And Ilia is decent wrestling and probably decent, you know, jiu-jitsu, which he's shown, and obviously he's dominated with it, but that doesn't make him on Islam's level. That doesn't mean that he possesses the same power as Islam when it comes to grappling. In the striking exchanges, depending on how long it stays there, you know, we could say, okay, maybe he could knock him out or something like that. But to say that, you know, that's what's gonna happen or whatever, I don't know. It's too much to say. Let's see Ilia get through some more guys. That fight maybe somewhere down the line. Maybe, you know, Islam fights a couple more guys. If he still retains the title, then, you know, that fight maybe makes sense at some point. So I don't think that even this all doesn't make sense. I get it. They're hyping it all up. I see Ilia trying to, hype it all up and try to get Islam out of his shell and try to make him come after him, which is a smart, marketing move because it'd be a big fight, but it's going to become a joke at some point. Like, I get McGregor started this whole thing and, but, or maybe not even, actually, McGregor. McGregor started it, it's going to become a joke. Because most of these guys don't even defend their titles when they have double champs, and then when they become double champs, and then they end up retiring. So they're just like, it's not even a long-lived, double champ. If I had to give an early prediction, though, honestly, I can't bet against Islam because he's just shown so much. With the Ilia thing, it's more recency bias. He's beat Volk, to one of the GOATs of featherweight, or possibly the greatest of all time featherweight. To say just because we recently saw him get knocked out, people are also going to say that, he got peppered up nice before by Islam. That's why Ilia was able to, take him out much more easier. I just think Ilia just possesses that much of amazing power to do it, but I still can't bet against Islam, especially seeing how many amazing fights he's had and how many people he's dominated. Just because we saw that one knockout like early in his career where, the fight, I look back at it and I was like, maybe they could have let it go on a little bit longer because Islam wasn't completely out. But that's just, that's left up to your own opinion or, your own thought on that. But that's what I think. But yeah, you can't base it off of that. But I've seen a lot of recent fights of Islam, obviously, and seen all of his recent fights, and obviously he's been dominant. He's been destructive. He's finished all his opponents, just as Ilia has. He just has a longer history, and he's a bigger guy. You can't count that part out. Just a bigger guy. So we'll see, if and how this ever plays out down the line. But for now, let's put this to rest. Leave it alone. I don't think it's a fight to be made right now. That's just my personal opinion on this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Ilia or Islam should be next at some point, or this year? Or if it should be at some point, when should it be? And who would you guys go for? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video. Also, if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can see all the new videos I upload.